There was a young woman named Esther who wasn't born into royalty, as she was an orphan raised by her cousin Mordecai in a land far from home. But one day, everything changed when the king of Persia began searching for a new queen, and, out of all the women in the land, he chose her. Esther, a quiet girl with a kind heart, found herself suddenly wearing a crown, which should have been a dream come true. But behind the palace walls, something dark was unfolding, as a powerful man named Haman convinced the king to pass a law that would destroy Esther's people, the Jews, and no one knew that Esther herself was one of them. When Mordecai heard the news, he sent her a message urging her to go to the king and beg him to save their people. Yet Esther was terrified because no one could approach the king without being called, making it against the law and punishable by death. Mordecai's reply still echoes through history, asking, "Who knows if you were made queen for such a time as this?" So Esther took a deep breath, fasted, and prayed, and then, dressed in royal robes, she boldly walked toward the throne, knowing every step was a risk and every heartbeat a prayer. But when the king saw her, he held out his golden scepter as a sign of mercy. With courage and wisdom, Esther revealed Haman's plan, prompting the king to become furious. And on that day, the tables turned as her people were saved, illustrating that Esther didn't fight with swords or armies, but wielded her weapon of courage born out of faith. Sometimes, God places us in unexpected positions, not for comfort, but for purpose. So when life feels uncertain, remember that you are not where you are by accident. You are here for such a time as this. In that pivotal moment when Esther revealed Haman's sinister plot, the tension in the air was palpable. As she stood before the king, her heart racing with each word spoken, knowing that the fate of her people hinged on her courage and truthfulness. The king, initially taken aback by this revelation, listened intently as the realization of the betrayal unfolded, and his expression shifted from disbelief to fury, making it clear that such treachery would not be tolerated in his kingdom. The courtiers surrounding them watched in stunned silence, their gazes darting between the furious king and the courageous queen, fully aware that the outcome of this confrontation could change everything. As Esther spoke, she drew strength not only from her own resolve, but also from the countless lives depending on her bravery, reminding everyone in that majestic palace that sometimes a single act of courage can alter the course of history forever. With the shadows casting dark shapes across the opulent walls of the throne room, the stakes could not have been higher. And it was in that very moment that Esther understood the weight of her position. She was not just a queen, but a protector of her people, standing at the crossroads of fear and faith.